Hello everyone, welcome to WebDev Warrior. In today's video, we're going to build a modern and responsive e-learning landing page from scratch. We're going to use Next.js 14, TypeScript, and Tailwind CSS to build this amazing website. Let me show you the full demo of this website. If I reload the page, you can see an initial animation here. We have a logo, some nav links with hover effect, and a sign up button. And here you can see some text, some button, and a image. And if I hover, you can see the image has a very nice hover effect, some 3D effect. Then if I scroll, you can see we have a fixed navbar here. Then we have this beautiful section with scroll animation. Then we have the popular code section with scroll animation. And you can see the course card have a 3D types hover effect. I'm going to show you how you can implement this hover effect very easily. And at the background, you can see a ball is jumping, and this makes the website looks a little more unique. After this, we have this feature section with an image, and you can see the image have a hover effect. Then we have this beautiful client review section with a slider. Here you can slide from left to right or right to left, and this slider has auto sliding feature also. You can see it slide automatically after some time. Then we have this latest article section, and this article have a learn more button with hover effect. Finally, we have this footer section with footer links and a newsletter. And here we have a button, so if I click here, it will go to the top. And this feature is convenient for every website. Now, if I show you the responsiveness of this website, if I select a mobile devices, you can see everything fit very nicely. And here we have a burger menu. If I click here, it will open our sidebar, and this sidebar is looking amazing. And you can see every section is fit perfectly in the mobile devices. And if I show you the desktop version, not desktop version, iPad version, you can see in iPad every section is also fit perfectly, and this also looks amazing. So this is the landing page we are going to build in this tutorial. There's a lot of things that you are going to learn from this tutorial. I'm going to explain you everything in this tutorial. I'm going to show you how you can set up a Next.js, TypeScript and Tailwind project, how you can structure your file, how you can add reusable component, how you can work with third-party libraries, how you can responsive your website, how you can add animation on your website, and finally I'm going to show you how we can deploy your project in live server. And we are going to use Vercel to deploy our project. So I encourage you to watch the full tutorial for better understanding. And the starter file and full source code of this project are given in the description. You can use this project to add your resume, or you can show it to your potential client. And if you have any question related to this project, you can ask me in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel for more interesting and amazing Next.js project. So without wasting our time, let's start building this amazing landing page. Now we are going to set up our project. For this, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it e-learning YT. And then I'm going to open this with my Visual Studio Code. And then inside the Visual Studio Code, I'm going to open a new terminal, and then go to my browser and search for Next.js, and then go to their installation page. And here I'm going to copy this npx script, and then here I'm going to paste it and add a dot slash so that all the packages are installed in our e-learning YT folder. So now I'm going to hit enter. It asked me, would you like to use TypeScript? Yes, we are going to use TypeScript. We are going to use ESLint. We are going to use Tailwind CSS. We do not need the source directory. We are going to use app router, and we do not need to customize our default import aliases. So I'm going to hit enter. Now it will install all the necessary package to needed to initialize a Next.js project. So let's wait some time to finish the installation. Our installation is completed. First, go to your tailwind config.ts, and here we do not need this extended part, so just delete this and hit save. Now our main folder is this app folder. So here we have a page, a layout, and global CSS. First, go to your global.css, and here we do not need this extra styling, and we are going to start from scratch. Then go to your page, and we are going to remove all of this. So this page is the main page. So if you go to localhost 3000, this page will open. So here I'm going to use a shortcut called RAFC to create a component boilerplate, and I'm going to name it homepage. Now if you wondering how I use the shortcut, to use this shortcut you have to install a extension. The extension is called ES7 React Redux and React Native Snippet. If you install this extension, you can use the shortcut to create the component boilerplate. Now here I am going to apply some Tailwind classes. So first one, I'm going to use text 6XL, and I'm going to use text red of 700. Now I'm going to run our project to see if everything works properly or not. So I'm going to use npm run dev, and then I'm going to open my browser, and here I'm going to use localhost 3000. Now you can see our Tailwind CSS is working perfectly. Now next we have this layout folder. So what is this layout folder? The layout folder is the overall wrapper of the project. So for example, if you add a navbar and a footer here, this navbar and footer will be added to all of the page that you are going to create in this project. So this layout is very helpful for layouting our project. Here in the layout folder, we are going to customize our font and metadata. So first, here you can see the Next.js already have Google font integrated with it. So we just need to import the font that we are going to use. So here for this project, I am going to use space grotesque font, and then I am going to change this constant name to more generic name, which is font. And here I am going to remove this. Here I am going to space grotesque, and we have to pass first the weight, font weight. This will be an array of the values, so 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700. And another one we have to pass is subsets, and the subsets will be Latin. And here we have to change the class name to font dot class name, and that's it. And for the metadata, and the metadata is very important for the SEO purposes. So for the title, I'm going to give the name of learning with WebDev warrior, and for the description I am going to give e-learning website using Next.js. You can use anything you want to make your website more SEO friendly. So now if I go to the website, you can see the font change, and here at the top we have learning with WDW WebDev warrior. So everything looks perfect. Next, I'm going to teach you some basic routing in Next.js app. So now here you can see we are in the localhost 3000. Suppose you want to create a about us page. What you need to do? To create a about us page, you just need to create a folder. So like I'm going to create a folder about us. And inside this folder, you have to create a file called page.tsx. And most important, it must be a page. Otherwise, the routing will not work. And now here, if I use the RAFC to create the component boilerplate and give the name about, and if I hit save and then go to the localhost 3000 slash about, sorry, not about us. You can see now here we have the text about. So we are in the about page. Now let's go to the localhost 3000. So you can see whatever you give the name of your folder will be added in your URL. Now let's say you want to create a page which is localhost 3000 slash product details. So what you need to do to create this kind of nested route? So you just need to create a folder inside the app folder. So let's say product, and then inside this you have to create another nested folder for product details, and then inside this product details you have to create a page.tsx. Now if I use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and here let's say product details, and now if you go to your website and go to the localhost 3000 slash product details and hit enter, you will be in the product detail page. So that's how routing works in Next.js. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to delete these two. We do not need these two here. So I'm going to delete this one and this one. So we have to give permission for deleting. Let's give the permission and delete the file permanently, no problem. So next, for this website we need some images. So I'm going to create a images folder inside my public folder, and I'm going to copy some images that we are going to use in this project. And don't worry, this image will be added in the starter file, and the starter file is in the description. I'm going to copy all of these and paste it inside my images folder. So these are some of the images that we are going to use in our project. Next, we need some icons for our project. So for the icon, we are going to use React icons. I am going to open the React icons GitHub pages, and here you can see they have a lot of icons that you can use. So I'm going to click here to their npm packages, and then I'm going to copy their npm script, and here I'm going to split the terminal, and I'm going to paste the npm script and hit enter. So this will install the packages in our project. You can see the package installed successfully. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to create a folder called components, and inside the components folder we are going to create, sorry for that. So inside the component folder we are going to create two more folder. One is home and another one is helper. So inside the home folder we are going to add our homepage related components, and in the helper we are going to create our helper components. So now in the home I am going to create a home .tsx file, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and I'm going to add this home inside our pages folder, home page folder. So in our home page component, we're going to add our home component, and we are going to add all the home page related component in our home folder. That's how our home page component will be clean. Next, what we are going to do, we need some data to work with. So I am going to create a folder called data, and here I am going to create a file called data.ts, and here I am going to paste some static data that we are going to use in our project. So I am going to paste the data that we are going to use. So here you can see we have export a course data, where course data array of object, where we have an ID, some image, URL, title, price, author, review number, lesson, student, and category. So we have 6 of them, and we have a article data, which we have a ID, username, user image, reaction, cover image, and title. So this data will be given in your starter file, and the starter file is in the description. So you just need to download the starter file. So that's it for our setup. Now we are going to build our navbar. So if I show you the navbar, here you can see we have a logo, some nav links, and a sign up now button. So to build this navbar, I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I'm going to name it navbar. And here I am going to create a file called nav.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate. Then I'm going to create another file which is mobile nav.tsx. So this is for our sidebar. So I'm going to use RAFC to create the boilerplate, and I'm going to create another file which is responsive nav.tsx. So this is for the functionality, so opening and closing our navbar. And here in the responsive nav, I am going to add our navbar and mobile number. So here we are going to add our nav, and also we are going to add our mobile nav. And then I'm going to add this responsive navbar in our layout folder. So let's go to the layout folder. So at the top of the children, we are going to have our responsive nav. That's how all the page that we are going to create in this application will have this responsive navbar attached to it. Now if I go to our application, and if I refresh the page, you can see here we have nav, mobile nav, and then we have the home. Now let's work on our navbar, which is our desktop navbar. So here, first div will have a class name of fixed, and we're going to use fixed positioning here. Width will be full. We're going to transition here, so transition all. Duration will be 200 millisecond. Height will be 12 ph, and set index will be 1000. Now if I save, and for now I am going to give a background color. So for now I'm going to give BG Blue 700. We're going to change this later. So now you can see we have our navbar. Next, inside this nav, if I show you, we have a logo and a nav link and a button. So we are going to use a flex box here, and we are going to make it a justify between. so that they are spaced between. Now inside this navbar, we have a div with a class name of flex. Items will be center, height will be full, justify will be between. Then we have width of 90%, and in extra large width will be 80%, and mx will be auto. Now inside this div, first we have our logo. So for the logo, I am going to use Next.js image component. So I'm going to import image from next image, and here in the next image we are going to pass our source. Source will be slash images slash logo.png. We are going to use the alt tag of logo. We will define a width of 120 and a height of 120. And if I save and go to our web page, you can see here we have our logo. So after the logo, we have our nav links. So nav links, here first we have a div with class name of, it will be hidden in the small devices, and in large screen it will be flex. Then we have items of center, and space x will be 10. So space between each nav links will be 10. Now inside this div we are going to have our nav links, but instead of doing like this, like we have a, let's say we have a link of home, and then we have, let's say, about. So instead of doing this individually, what we are going to do, we are going to create a folder here. So in the root level we are going to create a folder called constant, and in this constant I'm going to create a file called constant.ts, and here I am going to export nav links, which will be an arrow of an object with an id will be 1. Then we have a url, and for now it will be just hash, and then we will have a, so here we have export const nav links, and then we have a label. For this it will be home, and we have 6 of them. So one for about, course, testimonial, blog, and contact. So what I am going to do, I am going to copy this 5 more time. Then we have id of 2, and for the label it will be about. Then we have id of 3, it will be courses. Then id will be 4, then testimonial 5, and this label will be blog, and this will be id of 6, and this will be contact. Now we are going to use this constant in our navbar. So let's open our navbar. So navbar, then inside this div we are going to first import our nav links from our constant. So here we import the nav links from our constant folder, and then we are going to map through them, and by mapping through them we are going to get the individual link object, and then we are going to return What we are going to return? We are going to return a link. This link will coming from our next link, and then here we are going to first pass the key, and the key will be link.id. Then for the href we are going to pass link.url, and then inside this link we are going to have a p tag with our link dot label, and this p tag will have a class name of nav link. So this nav link will be a custom class that we are going to build. So to build this custom class, I am going to open my app and global.css, and here I am going to use a layer of components, and here I am going to create a nav link, which is a custom class, and here we are going to apply a bunch of Tailwind classes. So what we are going to use here? So first we are going to apply relative, then text will be Excel, width will be fit, it will be block, and after will be block, and then after the content will be empty. Then we have font of semi-bold, and after we'll have a absolute positioning. Then in after the height will be 3 pixel. After we have a bg of yellow 400, text color will be white, and after the width will be full, and then after we have a scale x of 0, and in after hover we'll have a scale x of 100. Then in after we are going to add a transition, and in the after the transition duration will be 300 millisecond, and then after origin will be right. Now if I save and let's go to our project, and here you can see we have our nav links with this beautiful hover effect, which looks very nice. So after this we have, so after the nav links, now you can see by using this constant we have a very clean code here, and we do not need to repeat the same styling and same p tag and link tag for all the nav links. So after the nav links we have our buttons. So then after this we are going to have a div with the class name of flex, items will be center, and SpaceX will be 4, and then inside this we are going to have a button, and this button will say that sign up now. Now this button have a class name of, in medium screen px will be 10, and in medium screen py will be 2. In small devices the px will be 8 and py will be 1.5, and text will be white, font semi-bold, text will be beige, and bg will be pink 700. In hover bg will be pink 900, and then transition will be all, and finally the duration will be 200 and round it will be LG. Now if I say, here you can see we have our sign up now button. So just like this one. Then after this sign up button, we are going to have a burger menu. So burger menu. For the burger menu, we are going to use a icons, which is high bars bottom right, and these icons were coming from React icons. So the React icons we installed previously, and you can search there the icon you need. And this button will have a class name of width of 8, height of 8, cursor will be pointer, text will be white, and now if I save, you can see we have our burger menu, but it will be hidden in large screen and it will be shown in the small devices. So for this, in large screen it will be hidden. Now if I say, you can see it's hidden now. Next, here you can see initially the Navbar have no background color, but as soon as I start scrolling, it changes background color. So now we are going to implement this logic. So for this, we are going to make this a client component, because here we are going to use state and use effect. And as you can know, by default all the Next.js file will be server component, and in server component you cannot use the hooks. To use the hooks, you have to convert your component a client component. So how we can convert a server component into a client component? We just need to use this use client directive at the top, and that's how we convert a client server component to a client component. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to create a state variable, which is navbg, and set navbg, and it will be have a use effect, not use effect, use state, and initially it will be false. And now here we are going to use a use effect hooks. So use effect, and here we are going to create a function called handler. It will be an arrow function, and here we are going to check if window dot scroll y, that means in the y direction if we scroll, if it is greater than or equal 90 pixel, then we are going to set our navbg to true. And then I am going to copy this condition again, and here if it is less than or equal 90, so if it is less than 90, then we are going to set our navbg to false. And then in the window dot add event listener, so in the windows event listener, and if it is scroll, we are going to call our handler function. And it is a good practice to remove the event listener in the use effect using a cleanup function. So here I am going to return another arrow function where I am going to copy this. So here we do not need this, we just use the And here, instead of add event listener, we are going to remove event listener. That's it. Now if I save, and here we have to change our class name, and here we are going to use a dynamic styling. That's why I'm going to make it a template literal, and I'm going to remove this. And here what we are going to do is we are going to check. So if we have our navbg true, then we are going to add a background color which is bg indigo 800, bg indigo 800. Otherwise we are going to just use fixed. Now if I save, and to make this a scroll element, I'm going to the home and I'm going to give this some height of 200 pixels so we can scroll. Now if I save and go to our project, and if I scroll, you can see it changes its background color after some scrolling. So first let me remove the initial background color. So if I remove this and if I hit save, and now if I scroll, you can see here we have our background, and here we also have some transition which looks very pretty. So now I am going to get back our initial background color, and in the home I am going to remove this class name. Now here if I inspect, you will see in the mobile devices our nav link is gone and we have this bar garment. Now we are going to start building our mobile nav. So I'm going to open the mobile nav, and here for the first, inside this div we are going to create a overlay. So here we have a div and it will be a self-closing div, and this div have a class name of fixed, top will be 0, transform, then we have transition. We are going to use the transition because later we are going to add some animation here. So we are going to use transition all, duration will be 500 millisecond, set index will be 10,000, left will be 0, right will be 0, bottom will be 0, and bg will be black, opacity will be 70, width will be full, and height will be 100 vh. Now if I save, here you can see we have our black overlay. So after this overlay we have our nav links. So now first we have a div with class name of text white, it will be fixed, then we have justify of center, flex will be in the column direction, height will be full, we're going to transform, transition will be all, duration will be 300 millisecond, not 300, it will be 500 millisecond. And here we are going to add a delay. So why we are using delay? Because we want that first the overlay comes to the screen, and then after some delay this main nav component will be animated to the screen. That's where we are using a delay. Then we are going to use a width of 80%, and smaller devices width will be 60%, background will be indigo 900, and space y will be 6, and set index will be 10006. Now if I save, and here you will see we have our nav sidebar. Then inside this we are going to have our nav links. So nav links, here again we are going to use our nav links, which is coming from our constant, and we are going to map through them. We'll get the individual link, and then we are going to return a link, and here we have to pass our key, which will be link dot id, and then we are going to pass. So first we have to import this link from our next link, and then we have to pass our href, which is link dot url, and then inside the link we will have a p with link dot label, and then this p have a class name of nav link. This is the custom class that we are built previously, and now you can see how it is useful. Now we do not need to repeat the same styling here, we just repeat the class name. And here we are going to pass some extra classes, so which is we have a text of 20 pixel, and then we have margin left of 12, we have border bottom of 1.5 pixel, padding bottom will be 2, border color will be white, and in small devices and higher text will be 30 pixel. Now if I save, and here we have some error I think, so let's check here. So here we will have a flex, now you can see it looks good. Now if I select mobile devices, you can see it looks very nice in the mobile devices. Next, after the nav links, we will have a close button. So for this I'm going to use the icon which is cg close, which is coming from React icons, and this icon will have a class name of absolute, then we have top of 0.7 RAM, then right will be 1.4 RAM, and in smaller devices width will be 8, in smaller devices height will be 8, and otherwise in the extra small width will be 6, height will be 6, and text color will be white. Now if I save, so let's give a comment here which is close button. Now let's see. So here we have our close button. Now our mobile Navbar is looking very nice. Now what we need to do is we need to implement the functionality to open the sidebar and close the sidebar. So for this I am going to open my responsive Navbar and I am going to make this a client component because we are going to use state here. So I am going to convert this a client component, and now here I am going to create a state variable which is show nav and set show nav, and here we have a use effect, not use effect, use state, and initially it will be false. So initially the navbar will be not shown. Now I'm going to create two functions. One is show nav handler, which will be an arrow function that set our show nav to true, and then we have another function which is hide nav handler. This one will be an arrow function as well. This will set our show nav to false. Now we have to pass these props in our navbar and mobile navbar. So for the navbar we are going to pass our show nav props. That will be, no, we do not need to pass this in our navbar. We are going to pass open navbar, open nav, which is the function which is show nav handler. And in the mobile nav we are going to pass our show nav property, which is show nav, and then we are going to pass our close nav function, which is hide nav handler. Now as we are passing some props, the TypeScript is complaining, so we need to import this. So we need to give this props a proper type definition and add this to the component. So for this, first I am going to open my nav, and here we are going to define props type. For this I am going to give a type of props, and here in the navbar we are receiving a open nav prop, which is the function, and this function doesn't return anything, that's why it will be a void. Now we are going to pass this in our navbar, so props, and here we are going to import the open nav. Now when we click on the burger menu, so on click, we are going to add our open nav function, so our nav will be open, and that's it. Now I am going to open my mobile navbar, and here we are going to define our props type. So here we are receiving a type props, and here we are receiving a show nav, which is type of boolean, which is true or false, and also we are receiving a close nav, which is a function, arrow function that returns nothing. Now we are going to add this in our component, and we are going to import the close nav and show nav. And then when we click the cross button, so here on click, we are going to add our close nav function. Now here, based on this props show nav, we are going to show our mobile nav or hide our mobile nav. So for this I am going to create a style for this. So here we have a const nav open, and this will be, so if we have the show nav true, then we are going to use translate x of 0. That means we are going to show the mobile name. Otherwise, we are going to use translate x of minus 100%. That means we are going to remove this from our home screen. And that's it. Now we have to apply this. So first we are going to apply this in our overlay. So to apply a dynamic class, we have to convert this into a template literal form. So I'm going to convert this a template literal, remove the double quotation, and here we're going to use our nav open. And then for the this step, we're also going to add our nav styling. So I'm going to make this a template literal, remove the double quote, and here we are going to use our nav open. Now if I save and let's go to our page, and now if I click here, you can see the nav is open with animation, which looks very nice. And now if I click here, it will close the navbar, and you can see how smooth it looks, and it's very professional looking and premium. And you can see this is our desktop version, and this is our mobile version. And you can see everything works perfect. And another thing that is, you can see initially our navbar has no background. So for now I am going to remove the background from the navbar. So I am going to open the navbar, and here I am going to remove this. Now if I say, now it will not look good, but it will look good when we start working on our hero section. So this is it for our navbar. Our navbar is completed. Now we are going to build the hero section. If I show you the hero section, here you can see in the hero section we have two parts. One is for the text content and another is the image, and the image have a very beautiful hover effect. So to build this, I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder. I am going to name it hero, and inside this I am going to create a file called hero.tsx, and I'm going to use RFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in my home component. So here I'm going to add our hero section. Now if I save, and here you can see we have our hero text. Now let's go to your hero.tsx file, and for the first div we have a class name of width will be full, padding top will be 4vh, and in medium screen padding top will be 12vh, height will be 100vh, and background color will be indigo 950. So you can use h of screen without using the syntax. This will be the same, height 100vh. Now if I save, here you can see we have our beautiful background with our navbar looks nice now, and we have this hero text. Next, after this div, we are going to have another div, and this div have a class name of flex. Then we have justify center. Flex direction will be in the column direction. Width will be 4 by 5, means 80%. Then we have height of full, and mx will be auto. Now if I save here, you can see the text is in the middle now. Then after this div, here we have another div, and we are going to use a class name of grid. We are dividing, So if I show you, we are dividing this into a two part, one for this image content and another for this text content. And here we are using the grid system for this. So we are going to grid, and grid calls will be one in the small devices, and in large screen the grid calls will be two. Items will be centered, and we are going to use a gap of 12. That means if I hover over, you can see it's 3 RAM. It's there. Now here we will have a text content, and another one will be image content. So for this we are going to create another component so that we can manage our project more easily by dividing the project in multiple parts. So in the hero, I'm going to create another file called hero content.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to create another component which is hero image.tsx, and here I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and I'm going to hit save. Now in the hero, here we're going to add our two components. One is hero content, and the second one is hero image. Now if I save, here you can see we have our hero content, and here we have our hero image. Now first we are going to work on our hero content. So open the hero content folder, and here we are going to have our first div, and then inside this div we have a h1 with the text of best online platform for education, and this h1 have a class name of text 3xl, and smaller device text will be 4xl. In medium text will be 5xl. In large screen text will be 6xl, and extra large text will be 7xl. Font will be bold. In medium screen we're going to have a leading of 3 RAM, and in large screen we have leading of 3.5 RAM, and then in the extra large we're going to have a leading of 4 RAM, and the text color will be white. Now if I save, here you can see we have our best online platform for education. Here we have a mistake, that is this will be text 7xl. Now if I say, now it looks good, best online platform for education, just like this one. So here we have a full stop. If I say, now it's look perfect. So after this h1 we have a p tag with some random text. To generate random text I'm using a extension called logarithm generator. So I'm going to use this to create 20 word random text, and then I'm going to hit save. So which extension I am using? I am using this logarithm generator extension. This is very helpful to generate random text for your website. Now this p tag have a class name of margin top will be 6, text will be small. In medium screen text will be beige, text color will be white, text opacity will be 60. Now if I hit save, and you can see this looks very nice. Then what we have these two buttons. So then we have another div with the class name of margin top of 8. We're going to use flex. Items will be center. SpaceX will be 4. Then inside this we have two buttons, and the first button have the text of get started, and the next one will be learn more. Learn more. Now I'm going to select these two buttons, and I'm going to give a class name of, in medium, px will be 12, and in medium py will be, padding in y direction will be 2.5. Otherwise the px will be 6 and py will be 1.5. And then we have text of white, font will be semi bold, text small, in medium screen text will be large. Then we have transition all, duration will be 200 milliseconds, and rounded will be LG. And for the first one we have a background of BG green 700, and hover it will be BG green 900. And for the second one we have a BG of yellow 700, and in hover BG of yellow 900. Now if I save, here you can see we have our two buttons, but I think the font is not properly working. So here we have a mistake. Now if I save, now it looks good. So we have the hover effect also. Now here you can see that these two buttons have some common classes. So what we can do is we can create a custom class here. So for this I'm going to create a button class, and here I am going to copy the common styling for our button. So in the hero content, so these are the common, so I am going to copy this, and I am going to create an apply and then paste the design. So here we have to fix some of this. Now if I save, what we can do now is we can just remove this part from both, and we just use the class button class. Now if I say, you can see everything is okay now, so we do not need to repeat our styling. So that's it. So that's the beauty of the custom classes. Now what we have then, so we have this stats after this button. So let's add some comment here. So these are the buttons, these are the description, and this is the title, and after this button we have our stats. So here we have a div with class name flex, items will be center, and we are going to use flex wrap, space x will be 16, so space x 16, then margin top will be 8. Then we have another div, and inside this div we have a p tag with the text 260 plus. Then we have another p tag, and then we have another p tag with the text of tutors. Now the first p tag have a class name of in medium screen, the text will be Excel. In a large screen, the text will be 2XL. In normal case, the text will be beige, text color will be white, and font will be bold. Then for the next p tag, we don't have anything. This p tag is for this line here. So this p tag have a class name of width will be 100 pixel, height will be 3 pixel, background will be green 600 for this one. Then margin top will be 2, margin bottom will be 2, rounded will be LG. Now for the third one, we have a class name of in medium screen, text will be LG, otherwise text will be small, text color will be white, text opacity will be 70. Now if I say, so here you can see this looks very nice, just like this one. So next I am going to copy this div for the second one, and here we have, let's say 2260 plus, and here we have students, and this one will be BG blue 600, and we have another one, so I'm going to copy this again, and here we have 60 plus courses. So if I hit save, and here we are going to change this to BG pink 600. Now if I say, here you can see we have our stats, and this looks very nice, so just like this one. So here we can make it capitalize, so courses. So that's it. So our content part is completed. Now in the image part, we have a image with beautiful hover animation. So to build this hover animation, we are going to use a third-party packages which is called React Parallax Tilt. So we are going to use React Parallax Tilt packages to build the hover animation. So if I open their npm packages, and here you can see they have the documentation you can learn more about by reading this. So I am going to copy this npm script, and here I am going to paste it and hit enter. And as you can see, what we need to do next is we have to import that tilt from React parallax tilt. So I'm going to copy this, and you can see it's installed successfully. Now I'm going to open our hero image, and here at the top I'm going to paste the tilt. And to use this package we have to make this a client component. So I'm going to make it a client component using use client. Now next, what we are going to do, we are going to wrap this image in the tilt. So we are going to use tilt here, and inside this I am going to use a div, and this div have a class name of, it will be hidden, and in large screen it will be block. So we are going to hide our image in the small devices, and here inside this we are going to have an image, and this image will coming from our next image, and here we have the source of slash images slash hero dot png, and the width will be 800 and the height will be 600, and the alt tag will be here. Now if I save and if I go to our website, you can see we have our image and we have this beautiful hover effect which looks very nice, just like this one. So here we have some spelling mistake in our content. So this one will be education, and let's remove some part here. There's some problem with the sizing, so let's go to the hero.tsx, and here let's say the overflow will be hidden. Now if I say, now the problem is gone, you can see everything is perfect now. Let me show you the responsiveness. So if I inspect and if I select the iPhone devices, here you can see everything fit perfectly. We have our sidebar, and you can see everything are looking very nice. If I select another mobile devices like iPhone 14 Pro Max, here you can see it's also fit perfectly and looks very nice. Let me select iPad devices. You can see in iPad it also looks fantastic. So our hero section is completed. Next we are going to build the about us section. So you can see this is the about us section with beautiful design. So to build this I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I'm going to name it about, and here inside this I'm going to create a file called about.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this inside my home folder. So in the home I am going to add our about component. Now if I save and go to our application, here you can see we have the text about. Then for the first div we have a class name of padding top will be 16 and padding bottom will be 16, and then inside this div we are going to divide our layout in two parts, because as you can see here we have one part and two part. So we are going to use the grid system here. So here we are going to define grid, and then we have a div with a class name of width will be 4 by 5 means 80%, mx will be auto. We're going to use grid system, then the grid calls will be 1 in smaller devices, and in large screen grid calls will be 2, and then items will be center, and we're going to use a gap of 16. Then here we have the first part So first part, this div is for the first part, first column, and this is the second part or for the second grid calls. So this div. Now for the first div here, inside this div we have another div with class name of flex. Items will be center and SpaceX will be 4. Then inside this div we will have another div with class name of width will be 12, height will be 12, background will be rows 600, then rounded will be full. We're going to use flex. Items will be center, justify will be center, and flex direction will be in column. Now inside this div we have a icon which is FA award. So we are going to use an icon here which is FA award, and this icon have a class name of height will be 6, width will be 6, and text will be white. Now if I save, you can see here we have this beautiful icon box, so just like this one. And then after this div we have a h1, and I'm going to copy the text from our deployed version here. So copy this and paste it here, and this h1 will have a class name of text will be Excel, text color will be black, and we have font of semi-bold. Now if I say, you can see this looks beautiful just like this one. Then after this div we have a h1 with the text, so I'm going to copy the text from here, online learning whatever and wherever and whenever. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here, and this h1 will have a class name of text to Excel. In small and high device text will be 3XL, in medium text will be 4XL, in large screen text will be 6XL, margin top will be 8, font will be bold, in medium screen leading will be 3 RAM, and in large screen leading will be 3.5 RAM. Then we have in large screen leading, no, we already have the large screen leading. Then we have extra large screen leading will be 3.9 RAM, and text will be gray 800. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our title, so online learning wherever and whenever, so just like this one. Next after this h1 we have a p tag. So here I'm going to use lorem, and we're going to generate 25 of character. So let's remove some of them, and this p tag will have a class name of margin top of 4, text will be gray 600. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have a short description just like this one, and then we have this button. So for the button, we are going to have a button tag, and this button tag have a class name of flex. Items will be center, SpaceX will be 2, and then we have px will be 8, py will be 3, margin top will be 8, hover we are going to have a background of gray 700, transition will all, and duration 200 millisecond, rounded will be 3xl, and we have background will be black and text color will be white. Inside this button we have an icon, so we have a span fast, which is learn more, and then we have an arrow. So here we are going to use fa arrow right. Now if I hit save, you can see here we have our beautiful learn more button. So just like this one. So our left side is completed. Next we have this section. So let's go to the second part, and this div, inside this div we have another div with the h1 will be 01, and this h1 have a class name of text 7xl. In large screen text will be 9xl, font will be bold, text will be black, and text opacity will be 5. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our 01, which looks very premium here. And then after this h1 we have a div. So this div have a class name of margin top of -10, and then inside this div we have a h1 with the text flexible schedule, and this h1 have a class name of text excel, and in medium text will be 2xl, text opacity will be 70. Then we have margin bottom of 3, text color will be black, and font will be bold. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our flexible schedule, so just like this one. And after this h1 we have a p tag with some random text, so I'm going to generate some random text here. This p tag will have a class name of width 90%, in large screen width will be 70%. Then we have text base, text black, and font will be bold. Now if I say, here you can see we have our text but not look like this one. So let's check our styling and add some more. So here we have font of, we do not need the font bold here. We have text opacity of 60. Now if I hit save, now it looks nice. So just like this one. Then we have another one pretty similar. So I'm going to copy the first one. So this is the first one. So I'm going to copy this again, and here for the first div we have a class name of margin top of 8 and width will be full, and here it will be 02. Then this title will be pocket friendly, and if I hit save and go to our website, here we have our second part, which is also looks like this one, and it looks very premium now. Now let me check if it is fully mobile responsive or not. So if I inspect and select mobile devices, here you can see in mobile devices it fit perfectly and looks very nice. And if I select like Pixel 7, here you can see it also looks awesome. Let me show you the iPad version. So let's select the iPad mini. So as you can see in iPad it also looks very nice. So our about section is completed. Next we are going to build the popular course section. Here we have some course card with this hover effect, and in the background you can see a ball is jumping. So now we are going to build this section. So to build this I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I'm going to name it courses. So course, and inside this I'm going to create a file called courses.tsx, and here I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this inside our home folder. So after the about we are going to add our courses. Now if I hit save and if I go to the project, here you can see we have the text of courses. Now in the courses file, for the first div we have a class name of padding top of 16, padding bottom of 12. We're going to use the position relative, and we're going to add a background of bg gray 200. Now if I save, here you can see we have our background and we have some padding. Now inside this div we first have an image which is coming from next image, and the source will be slash images slash cb.png, and for the alt tag we are going to have the text of image, and the width will be 800 and the height will be 800, and we have a class name for this. So we have a class name of absolute. We are going to position this in absolute, and from the top it will be 30%, and we are going to add an animation of bounce. Now if I hit save, and you can see we have this ball which is bouncing. Now when we add the more content, this will looks more good like this one. So now let's go to our site, and here, so here we can give this a comment of bounce ball, and after this image we have a div with class name of width will be 80%, padding top will be 8, padding bottom will be 8, and mx will be auto. And then inside this div we have a h1 with the text of popular courses, and this h1 have a class name of text for excel, In medium screen, text will be 5 pixel and text will be gray 900 and font will be bold. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our title called popular course, just like this one. So popular courses, and then after this h1 we have another div. We are going to create a grid system for this card. So we have 3 card in our full width, so we are going to use grid calls 3 for this. So here this div will have a class name of in medium screen, padding top will be 16, otherwise padding top, not padding top, margin top will be 16 for medium and large screen devices, and margin top will be 10 for less than medium size screen. And we are going to use grid calls 1 for small devices, and in large screen it will be grid calls 2, and extra large screen we are going to use grid calls of 3, and we have a gap of 10. Now inside this we are going to use our data. So in the data folder you can see we already have this course data, so we are going to use this now. So what we are going to do, we are going to use this course data, and we are going to import this from our data folder, and then we are going to map through them, and we will get a single course. And for this single course we are going to return a div, and this div we are going to pass the key which is course.id. We are going to then add a course data component here. So for individual courses we are going to build this course card. So for this I am going to create another component inside our course, which is course card dot tsx. So we are going to reuse this for every card. I'm going to use RFC to create the component boilerplate, and here for every course, individual course, we are going to use our course data, course card, and here we are going to pass the props which is course, and we are going to pass course. So this course as a data. Now it's complaining because of the TypeScript, and we have to give this a proper type in the course data folder. So what you can do, there is a trick here. So if you hover, it will give you the course type. So you have to just copy this and go to your course card, and here define the type, and we are going to define a type of props which will be a course, and the course will contain a id of type number, image of type string, title of type string, price of number, author string, review number will be number, lessons will be number, students will be number, and category will be string. Now we are going to pass this inside our component. Now you can see it's not complaining anymore. So here we can give some comment. So this is the title, and this is the courses, and this is the individual course card. Now let's open the course card, and here we are going to use the React tilt library for this 3D type effect. So for this we are going to import tilt from React. So let's go to our hero section and hero image. Here we have our import. So I'm going to copy this and just paste it here, and we are going to wrap everything inside our tilt for this amazing hover effect. Now inside this tilt we have a div, and this div have a class name of background will be white, rounded will be LG, overflow will be hidden, cursor will be pointer. I'm going to hit save, and as we are going to use tilt here, we have to convert this into a client component. So I'm going to use client at the top to make this a client component. Now inside this div we are going to have another div, and here we have an image. So this image will coming from the next image, and here at the top we are going to import our course, and this image we are going to use the source will be course dot image, and for the alt we are going to use course dot title, and then width will be 400, height will be 400, and we have a class name of width full and height of full. Now if I hit save and go to our site, here you can see we have our images, which looks very nice, and you can see we have this 3D type amazing hover effect. So after this image, so let's give a comment here, so image, and after this image we have a div with class name of p4. So what we have next, we have this price ball. So let's give this a comment of price, and then inside this div we are going to have a h1 with course. So here we have a dollar sign, and then we have course dot price. Now this h1 have a class name of margin left will be auto, we're going to use relative, z index will be 10, height will be 20, width will be 20, we're going to use flex, items will be center, text will be large, font will be bold, justify will be center, and the flex direction will be in the column. Then we have margin top will be 4rem, and rounded will be full, bg will be rows 700, and text will be white. Now if I hit save and if I go to the website, here it's not looks good. Let's see why. So here height will be 20. Now if I hit save, so now it looks good. And another thing that is the margin top will be -4rem. Now if I say, now it looks good, just like this one. So the price looks nice, and after the price we have this category and author. So after this price we have the information. So here we have a div with class name of flex, items will be center, margin top will be 6, and space x will be 4. Then inside this div we'll have a span with course dot category, and then we have another span which will be course dot author. So for the first span we have a class name of text lg, then we have text color will be black, text opacity will be 70, and font will be bold. And for the second span we have a class name of text base and text gray 600. Now if I hit save, and here we have a programming and the author, but does not look very nice. Let's see what we have missing here. So this information will be inside this div, and the price will be here. Now if I hit save, now it's look better. So we have programming and then the author name, then we have the title review. So after this div we have a h1 with course dot title, and this h1 have a class name of text extra large, text will be black, and then we have font bold, and we have margin top of 2. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our title, so just like this one, and this looks very nice. After this title, so this is the title, then we have the reviews. So after the h1 we have another div with class name of flex, margin top of 2, items will be center, and then we have SpaceX SpaceX2. If I hit save, and this then inside this div SpaceX2, and then inside this div we have another div with class name of flex and item center, and then inside this div we have a star icon. So if a star is coming from React icons, this icon will have a class name of width 4, height 4, text will be yellow 600, yellow 600. Now we have 5 of them, so 1 2 3 4 5, and then after this div we have a span. So we have a span, and it will say it will be inside a first bracket, and then we have a course dot review number, and then the text reviews, and the span have a class name of text base, text will be orange 500, no, text will be orange 800, in font will be semi-bold. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our review, which looks very nice, just like this one. So after this div, we have another div. So we have another div with class name of padding top of 6, margin top of 6, margin bottom of 6, width will be 4, height will be 2 pixel, bg will be gray 500, and then we have opacity of 50. So this is the line here. So you can see here we have this line. So this is the line. So let's give this a comment of line, and then after this div we have another div with class name of flex, margin bottom will be 8, items will be center, justify will be between. Then inside this div we have another div with class name of flex, items will be center, and spacex will be 2. Spacex will be 2. Now inside this div we will have a icon which is a file icon coming from React icon, and then we have a p tag with course dot lesson, and then we have the text of lessons, and this icon will have a class name of width 4, height 4, and then we have text of orange 600. If I hit save, and this p will have a class name of text base, font will be semi bold, and text will be gray 800. Now I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to copy this div again, and here we are going to change this to a user, if a user group, and then this will be course dot students, and the text will be students. Now if I hit save, and here this will be the lessons and student info. Now if I hit save, and as you can see this looks very nice, just like this one, the deployed one, and we have the hover effect, and let me show you the responsiveness. You can see the bouncing ball is now looks very nice. Let me show you the responsiveness. If I inspect and if I select the mobile devices, you can see now we have one card, and that looks very nice. If I select another mobile devices like Samsung, you can see here it also fit perfectly. And if I show you the iPad version, in the iPad it also fit perfectly. So our course section is completed. Next we are going to build the feature section. So this is the feature section where we have an image with hover effect and some feature text. So to build this, I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I am going to name it feature, and inside this I am going to create a new file called feature.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this inside my home folder. So here I am going to add our feature section. Now if I save, here you can see we have the text feature. Now go to your feature component, and for the first div we have a class name of padding top of 16, padding bottom of 16, and then inside this we have another div, and this div we are going to define our grid system because we are going to divide this into two parts, one for the image and another for this text content. So for this div we have a class name of margin top of 8. We are going to use grid calls will be 1. In extra large, grid calls will be 2. Then items will be center, and gap will be 12, and width will be 80%, and finally image will be auto. Then inside this we have first the image. So this tip is for the image, and then we have the text content. So text content, so this tip is for text. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our two part, one is image and another is text. Now for the image, here we are going to use the tilt for this hover effect. So I'm going to import tilt from React parallax tilt, and then I'm going to wrap everything in tilt. So let's make sure if it is called tilt. Yes, it is called tilt. And then inside this tilt we are going to add our image. So we are going to import the, so here inside this we have a div, and then inside this div we are going to use our Next.js image component, and then this image will have a source, and source will be slash images slash f.png. Then we have a alt tag. For this I'm just going to use the image. Then we have width of 1000 pixel, and then height also will be 1000 pixel. And if I hit save and go to our site, and one thing we have to make this a client component because we are using the tilt, so I'm going to use client. Now if I hit save, and now you can see we have our image with this beautiful hover effect. Next we are going to work on the text content. So inside this div we have another div. So let me see what we have here. So we have this part, and if you remember we already built this in our about section. So I am just going to copy this. If you want you can create a new component for this reusable component, but I am not going to do it here. I am just copy the component from our about. So about, so this is the part, so I'm going to copy this, and in the feature and inside this div I'm going to paste it, and here the icon we are going to use is briefcase. So we are going to change the icon, so fa briefcase, and the text will be premium learning experience. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have this part completed. And after this we have the heading. So next, so this tip, let's say subheading. Then after this we have our main heading. So we have h1. I'm going to copy the content from our deployed version. So this is the text, so I'm going to copy this and then paste it here. And this h1 will have a class name of text to excel. In small devices, text will be 3xl. In medium screen, text will be 4xl. In large screen, text will be 6xl. Margin top will be 8. Font will be bold. In medium, leading will be 3 RAM. In large screen, leading will be 3.5 RAM. And in extra large, leading will be 3.9 RAM. And text color will be gray 800. And now if I save, you can see we have our heading just like this one. So after this heading we have a p tag. So now we have a div, and inside this div we have a h1 and a p. So we have a h1 and the content. I'm going to copy it from here. So copy this and paste it here. Then we have a p tag with some random text. So I'm going to generate some random text here. And the div will have a class name of margin top of 8 and margin bottom of 6. This h1 have a class name of text lg. In medium, text will be 2xl. Text color will be black. Text opacity will be 70. Font will be semi-bold. And this p tag will have a class name of text small. In medium, text will be beige. Text color will be black. Text opacity will be 70. Text opacity will be 70. Then font will be no font. We are going to use margin top of 4. Now if I save, and here you can see we have our title and our short description. But I think the text is somehow little big here. No, it's okay. Text will be 2xl. And then I'm going to copy this div one more time, and we're going to change the content here. The second one will be increase your learning skills. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So now if I save, you can see now we have our 2 feature list just like this one. Let's reload the page, and everything looks perfect now. So if I show you the responsiveness, so if I inspect and if I use iPhone, you can see this section fit perfectly in mobile devices. So if I use like iPhone 40 Pro Max, you can see it also looks very nice. We have the image and the content. And for the iPad devices, in iPad it also fit perfectly. So our feature section is completed. Next, we are going to build the user review section. So if I show you the user review section here, you can see at the left we have some text, and at the right we have a beautiful slider with user reviews. So now we are going to build this component. So to build this, I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I'm going to name it review. And then inside this folder I'm going to create a file called review.tsx, and I'm going to use rafc to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this inside our home. So here I'm going to add our review section. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our review text. Now go to your review file, and for the first div we have a class name of padding top of 20, padding bottom of 16, and background will be black. Now if I hit save, and you can see we have our black background, and then inside this div we have another div with class name of width will be 80%, mx will be auto, grid calls will be 1 in small devices, and in extra large grid calls will be 3, and mx will be auto, and we already have that, and items will be center, and we are going to apply a gap of 20. And inside this div, first we have the text content. So this is the text content div, and then we have our slider. So this is the slider div, and we are dividing the whole space or whole area in 3 parts. So we are going to divide in 3 parts, and we are going to give this 1 and this will be 2. So now this div will have a class of call span of 1, and it will be in extra large screen, and this slider div will have a in extra large scale. So class name in extra large it will be call span of 2. So 2 part of this slider and 1 part for the text content. Now let's work on the text content div. So here we have margin top of 6, and then inside this div we have another div, and here you can see we have the same type of component or element, you can say, that we are using here. So I'm just copy this from our previous component, which is feature component, and this is the subheading. I'm going to copy this subheading, and in the review I'm going to paste it here, and here the icon will be, so we're going to change the icon here. The icon will be BS quote, and the text will be student feedback. Now if I hit save, And here we are going to change the text color from black to white. Now if I say, you can see now it looks good. So after this we have this title. So next we have our title, and here we have h1 of trusted by genius people, and this h1 will have a class name of text to excel. In medium screen text will be 3 excel. In large screen text will be 5 excel. Margin top will be 8. Font will be bold. In medium screen leading will be 3 RAM, and in large screen leading will be 3.3 RAM. In extra large leading will be 3.6 RAM, and text color will be white. Now if I say, here we have our heading. So just like this one, trusted by genius people, and here we have a missing of dot. So now it looks good. Then we have this simple description. I'm going to copy the text from here. So after the h1 we have description, and here we have a p with some random text, and this p will have a class name of text base, text color white, text opacity will be 50, and margin top will be 6. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our short description that looks very nice. Then we have this percentage and students complete course. So after this we have some info, and here we have a div, and inside this div we have a p1 with 99%, and again we have a p with students complete. Then we have a break tag, and then we have quotes successfully, and here it's some ESLint problem, so I am going to just disable for this warning. Now for the first div we have a class name of flex, item center, SpaceX will be 10, and margin top will be 8. Then for the p we have a class name of text white, font will be bold, text 5 excel, and for the second paragraph we have a class name of text white. Now if I save, here you can see this looks very nice, so just like this one. Next we have this slider. So for this, and here this div will have some extra classes like background will be white, rounded LG, overflow will be hidden. And then inside this div I am going to create a helper function for our sliders. So here we will have a slider helper function, helper component. So we're going to build this. So for this I am going to create a new file in the helper and I'm going to name it slider.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in our review. So here we're going to add our slider. Now I'm going to hit save, and if I go here, you can see here we have this slider div. Now we're going to work on this slider. So to build the slider, we're going to use the npm package, a popular one, which is React multi-carousel. It is very easy to implement. So I'm going to search for React multi-carousel and I'm going to open their npm package. They have some demo and they have the documentation and how you can set up and everything. You can read this to learn more about these packages. Here you can see they have a very high download amount. So I'm going to copy their npm script and I'm going to paste it here, and it will install the packages. Next I'm going to open my slider.tsx and you can see the install completed. So I'm going to open this, and here first we have to import the carousel and the styling. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here, and to use this package we have to make our component a client component. So I'm going to convert this into a client component. Next what we are going to do is we have to copy a responsive variable for our carousel to be mobile friendly. So I'm going to copy this and I am going to paste it here, and here we are going to change some of the value. So in the desktop the breakpoint will be, the maximum will be 3000 pixel and minimum will be 1324, and here we are going to show one item and item will slide will be 1, so one item will slide. Then in the tablet the maximum will be 1324 and minimum will be 764. You can adjust this by your application need. So here we are going to show one item and the slider will slide one item, and in mobile the max will be 764 and the minimum will be 0, items will 1 and slides to slide will be 1. So this is our responsive variable. So by using this variable we can make our slider mobile responsive. Then inside this we are going to return a carousel, and here we are going to pass some of the properties here. So first one is additional transform. You can learn more about this in the documentation. You can see here they have a lot of customizing properties you can use to customize your slider. So I'm going to use the additional transform to 0. Then we have arrows will be true. Then we have autoplay will be true. Then autoplay speed will be 5000 milliseconds, that means 5 seconds. So after 5 seconds the slider will automatically slide. Then we have center mode to false, and it will be an infinite slider. Then responsive will be our responsive variable. Then we have item class will be item. Now if I hit save, and inside this carousel we are going to add our another reusable component, which is slider cart. So we are going to use another reusable component for our slider cart. So I'm going to create a new file inside the helper, which is slider card.tsx, and I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate. And then here we're going to have a slider card component, and we're going to pass some props here. So first one we're going to pass is the image, that will be slash images slash r1.jpg. Then we are going to pass a name. So for the first one we have Jessica Doe, and then we are going to pass a role for this one, web developer. And we are going to have 3 slider card. So I'm going to copy this 2 more times. This one will be R2, and this one let's say John Doe, and let's say Next.js developer, and the third one will be R3, and let's say this one is Jonas Doe, and this will be Marn developer. Now we have to receive the props in our slider card and give them proper type definition to avoid this warning. So I'm going to open my slider card, and here I'm going to define the type. So here we have a type of props, and here we're receiving a name of type string. Then we have a image of type string, and finally we have a role which is of type string. Now if I hit save, and if we pass this prop in our component, you can see our warning is gone. Now here I am going to import our image, our name, and row. Now we're going to work on this slider card component. So if I show you, so this whole thing is a card. So this is one card, this is another card, and this is another card. We are going to build this one now. So for this, the first div have a class name of flex, and we have flex wrap. Then in small devices it will be flex no wrap. Items will be center, and space x will be 10. Now inside this div we have another div with class name of height full, width full, and then here we are going to use the image from our next image. This image will have a source of image that coming from our props. We have an alt, let's say image, then we have a width of 350, and height will be 350 pixel, and we have a class name of width full, height will be full. If I hit save, and if I go to our, here you can see we have our image, but it's not looks very nice here. Let's working on this, so we're going to fix it later. So after this div we have another div with class name of margin top will be 6, and then we have margin bottom will be 7, and inside this div we'll have another div with class name of flex item center, and then inside this div we will have a star icon. So fa star coming from React icons, and this one will have a class name of, in extra large width will be 7, and in extra large height will be 7, in medium width will be 5, and in medium height will be 5, otherwise width will be 4 and height will be 4. and text color will be yellow 600. Now we have 5 of them, so I'm going to copy this 5 more time. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our star, which looks very nice, but somehow our image is not properly fitted. I think if we add all the content here, the image will be fit perfectly. So for now, let's complete our content section to see if it is fixed or not. So then after this div, we have another p tag with some text. So I'm going to use lorem25 to generate some text, and this p tag will have a class name of margin top will be 6, text will be gray 800, width will be 95%, and in medium screen width will be 80%, text will be extra small, in medium text will be small, and in large text will be base, font will be semi bold, text opacity will be 65, and if I say, here you can see the images fit perfectly now, and we have our random text, and here we have the random text and random text, so just like this one. So after this, what we have is another div with class name of margin top will be 7, and inside this we have h1 with the name of the student, and another one is p tag for the row. The h1 will have a class name of text excel, text will be black, font will be semi bold, and for the p tag we have a class name of text large, text black, and text opacity will be 60. Now if I hit save, now here we have our role and the title of the student. Now this looks very nice, and let's check if it is fully responsive or not. So if I inspect and select mobile devices, and here you can see it fit perfectly with the mobile view. So here we have our slider, and here we have our student feedback text. Now if I select like Samsung Galaxy S20, you can see it's also fit perfectly with our screen size. Now let's select the iPad, and in the iPad it also fit perfectly. So our student review section is completed. Next we are going to build the article section. So if I show you the article section, here you can see we have 3 articles card. Now we are going to build this section. To build this, I am going to again create a new folder inside my home folder, and I'm going to name it article, and inside this I'm going to create a new file called article.tsx, and I'm going to use RFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this inside our home. So inside our home we are going to add our article. After the review we are going to add our article section. Now close this, we do not need this now. So now go to your article.tsx, and the first div we have a class name of padding top of 20, padding bottom of 20, bg will be gray 100, and if I save, And here you can see we have our article text with background and some padding. Then inside this div we will have a title. So before the title we are going to add a div, and we are going to add a class name of width will be 80%, mx will be auto, and then inside this div we are going to add our heading. So this is our heading h1, and it will be latest articles. And this h1 will have a class name of text 4xl. In medium, text will be 5xl. Then we have text color of gray 900, and font will be bold. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our beautiful title, or you can say the heading. Then after this we are going to define our grid system for our card. So define grid system, and here we have a div with class name of margin top of 10. We're going to use grid calls will be 1 for smaller devices. In medium, grid calls will be 2, and in large, grid calls will be 3, gap will be 12. And now you can see here we have a data folder, and inside the data folder file we already have our article data. So what we are going to do is we are going to map through this data, and we are going to show a card for this individual object. So we are going to show 3 cards for 3 objects. So for this, inside this div we are going to give this a comment of article mapping. So here we are going to import our article data from our data folder, and then we are going to map through them, and we are going to get an individual article, and then we are going to return a div, and this div will have the key which is article.id, and inside this div we are going to create a reusable component so that we do not repeat ourselves. So here we are going to create a article card component. So inside the article folder I am going to create another file called article card.tsx, and I'm going to use RFC to create the component boilerplate, and then here for individual article we are going to render a article card component. So article card component, and here we are going to pass a props of article which will be our article data. Now it's complaining, so we have to uh, add the prop type in our article card. So I'm going to hover here, and you can see it give us the type. So I'm going to copy this, and then in the article card at the top we are going to define our props type. So here we are going to define a type props which will be an object, and inside we are going to receive an article which have the following properties: id of type number, user image type of string, username type of string, reaction type of number, cover image type of string, and title will be type of string. Now here we are going to pass our props, and we are going to import our data which is article. Now we are going to work on this article card component. So for the first div we have the class name of background of white. We are going to make it a rounded corner, so rounded LG, and we do not need any overflow, so overflow will be hidden. Now inside this article card first we have our image, so cover image, and here we are going to use our Next.js image component. So I'm going to import image from next image, and we're going to pass the source. So source will be article dot cover image, and we are going to pass a alt tag which will be article dot title. Then we are going to pass the width, which is 300 pixel, height of 300 pixel, and we are going to pass a class name of width full and height full. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our beautiful card image, and you can see they have the rounded corner. And next we are going to do is, say, let's see what we have next. So we have the author and the reaction next. So for this I'm going to give a comment here, author and reaction, and then we have a div, and this div have a class name of padding 5, and this is the overall div. And inside this div we first have our author and reaction. So here we have a div with class name of flex, items will be center, justify, between. And now inside this div we have another div with class name of flex, items center, and SpaceX will be 4. Now in this div what we have, we first have a image. So we are going to use our Next.js image component, and here we are going to pass the source, and source will be article dot user image, alt will be article dot username, and width will be 40 and height will be 40, and we have a class name of rounded full. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our user image. After the user image we have a p tag with article dot username, and this p tag have a class name of text will be base. Then we have text color will be black, text opacity will be 70. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our username. After that we have another div. So after this p tag we have another div with class name of flex. Then we have items of center, and SpaceX will be 2. Then inside this div we have a hard icon, so bi hard. The hard icon will have a class name of text rate 600, text rate 600. And after this we have a p tag with article dot reaction, and this p tag will have a class name of text small, text will be gray 800. And now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our reaction, but this not look like this one, so maybe we have some error. Let's see. So here this will be outside of this div. So this is one part, and then we have this part. Now if I hit save, now you can see now it looks very nice, just like the deployed one. So then we have the heading. So after this div, author and reaction, then we have our heading, and here we have a h1 with article dot title, and this h1 will have a class name of margin top will be 4, margin bottom will be 4, text will be extra large, and font will be semi-bold. After this h1 we have a p with some random text, so I'm going to use lorem ipsum to generate some random text, and then this p tag will have a class name of text base, text will be gray 700. Then after the p tag we have a button, and the button we have learn more. This button will have a class name of margin top of 4, margin bottom of 3. In hover the text will be green 600, text will be large, text color will be black, and font will be bold, and we have finally the underline. Now if I hit save, and here you can see we have our title, our learn more button. The description is little bit more, I think, so I am going to remove some of the dummy content here. Now let's remove a little more. So now if I hit save, now it looks good. So now we have this learn more button, and the article cards looks very nice. Let's see if it is responsive or not. So if I inspect, and I'm going to select a mobile devices, and you can see in mobile devices we have one card, and it looks very nice. And if I select another mobile devices like iPhone 12 Pro, here it also looks very nice. You can see our title is looks little bit of low, so I'm going to check it. So let's go to the article. So here we have a missing of for Excel. Now it looks fine. So now we have this section, and if I show you the iPad version, and you can see in the iPad it also looks very nice. So our article section is completed. Next we are going to build the footer section. So this is the footer section. Now we are going to build the footer of our website. For this I am going to create a new folder inside my home folder, and I am going to name it footer, and inside this I am going to create a file called footer.tsx, and I am going to use RFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I am going to add this footer inside our layout folder, so that all the pages that we are going to create in this application will have the footer attached to it. So first we have the responsive nav, and the middle we are going to have our content, and at the end we are going to have our footer. Now if I hit save, you can see here we have our footer text. Now let's go to your footer file, and for the first div we have a class name of padding top of 20, padding bottom of 12, and background will be black. And then inside this we are going to have another div, and if I hit save, you can see we have our background. And in the footer we are going to divide our full width in 4 parts, and we are using grid system. So you can see we are dividing our width in 4 parts, and we have 4 parts of our footer. So let's define a grid system. Define grid, and then here we have a div with class name of width will be 80%, mx will be auto, and grid items will be center, no items will be start, grid calls will be 1 for small devices, in medium screen grid calls will be 2, in a large screen grid calls will be 4, and gap will be 12, padding bottom will be 8, we have a border bottom will be 1.5 pixel, then we have border color will be white, and border opacity will be 12, not 20. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have the border which looks very nice. And then inside this div, first we have the first part of the footer. So first footer part, here we have a div, and inside this div we have an image which is coming from next image, and then here the source will be slash images slash logo.png, then we have alt of logo, height will be 100, width will be 100, and if I hit save, here you can see we have our logo here. So after the image we have a p tag with some lorem text, and this p tag have a class name of text wide, text will be in opacity 50. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our description. Let me remove some of this, I think it's too much. So now it looks good. Then we have the social icons. So here add 2 more words. Then after this we have social icons, social links you can say, and here we have a div with class name of flex, items will be center, SpaceX will be 4, and margin top will be 6. Now inside this div we are going to have first fa Facebook icon from hero icon, then we have fa Twitter icon, then we have fa YouTube icon, and finally we have fa Instagram icon. And I'm going to select all of this using the alt, and then we have a class name of, so it will be inside this. Now we have a class name of width will be 6, height will be 6, and now the Facebook will have a text of blue 600. The Twitter will have a color will be text sky 500. The YouTube will have a text red 700, and finally the Instagram will be text pink 600. Now if I hit save, here you can see our icons looks very nice here. Next we have our second part with some footer links. So this is the first part, and we do not need this tip. So for now, this is the first part, and let's remove this. I think this one is extra. So after this we have our second part, and here we have a div, and inside this div we first have a h1 with class name of footer heading. So we are going to create a reusable class here which is called footer heading, and the heading will be popular. And then we have a p, and we have 6 of the footer links, so I'm going to create 6. The first one will be web development, then we have hacking, UI UX, design, then we have app development, then we have desktop development, then here we have digital marketing, and I'm going to select all of the p tag using alt and the mouse of the point that I'm going to select, and all of them will have a class name of footer link. So this is another reusable class that we are going to build. So first I'm going to open my global CSS, and here I'm going to create a footer heading, and we're going to apply text large, text color will be white, font will be bold, and margin bottom will be 4. And another one is footer link. So footer link, and we are going to apply text small, text will be white, in hover text will be green 700, cursor pointer, text opacity will be 16, margin bottom will be 3, width will be fit. Now here we have our nav links, but the footer links, but the footer heading is not work properly. Let's see if we give them the right class name. Footer heading. Okay, so here we have another this. So this is our class footer heading. Now if I see, now it looks good, now it's perfect. So next we have this quick links, which is same as this one. So I'm going to copy this one. So go to the footer. This is the second part. And then we have the third part. And the third part is similar to this one. So I'm going to copy this and then paste it here. The title will be quick link, and then here we have home, about, courses, instructor, profile, and privacy policy. Privacy policy. Now if I hit save, now here we have our third part of the footer, which looks very nice. Then we have this newsletter section. So after this tip, we have our fourth part, which is a newsletter. And here we have a div, and inside this div we have a h1, and it has a class name of footer heading, and inside this we will have subscribe our newsletter. And then after this h1 we'll have an input of type text. The placeholder will be enter your email, and then we have a class name of px6, py will be 2, rounded lg, then we have outline will be none, bg will be gray 700, width will be full, and text will be white. And after this input we have another button for subscribe, and we're going to copy this class name from here, and then we're going to paste it here. And then we are going to add some more. So padding top will be 4, and bg will be row 700. Now if I hit save, here you can see we have our beautiful newsletter section. And finally we have this copyright text. So I'm going to copy this text from here, and after this tip we have a p tag with the text copyright, and it will have a class name of text center, margin top will be 4, text size will be base, text will be white, opacity will be 70. Now if I hit save, now you can see it looks very nice. So our footer is looks very nice. Let's see if it is responsive or not. So if I inspect, and if I select the mobile phone, and you can see in mobile devices every section is fit perfectly and looks awesome. If I select like Samsung, and here you can see it also fit very nicely. Let's select iPad device, and in the iPad it also looks absolutely awesome. So our footer section is completed. Next, we are going to build the scroll to top feature. So here you can see we have a button. So if I click here, it will go to the top. And initially it is hidden, but when I start scrolling, it will appear to the screen. So now we are going to build this functionality in our website. So for this, I am going to create a new file inside my helper folder, and I'm going to name it scroll to top.tsx. And I'm going to use RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in our layout folder so that all the pages will have the access of this functionality. So here I'm going to add our scroll to top component. Now what we need to do is, if I show you, so first it will be hidden, but when we start scrolling it will appear to the screen. So this is our first functionality. And the second one is it will be a fixed position, and then the third one is when we click here it will go to the top. So this is our functionality. So for this, here we are going to use state and use effect. So I am going to convert this into a client component. So I am going to use client to convert this into a client component. Then first I am going to create a state variable here. So const and is visible and set is visible, and we are going to use pure state, and initially it will be false. So we are not going to show our button initially. Now I am going to use our use effect hooks, and I'm going to write the syntax for this. And then inside this use effect, first I am going to create a function called toggle visibility, and this one will be an arrow function. And here we are going to check if window dot scroll y is greater than 300 pixel. So we scroll 300 pixel, then we are going to set our is visible state to true, and else otherwise we are going to set our is visible state to false. Now what we are going to do is, on the Windows event listener, so we are going to add a event listener on the Windows. And what event listener we are going to use? We are going to use the scroll event listener. So on the scroll we are going to add our toggle visibility function. Now as we add the event listener, it is good practice to clean up the function and remove the event listener. So for this I am going to return an arrow function, and here I am just copy this one, and instead of add event listener I am going to add the remove event listener. So remove event listener, that's it. So our first functionality is done, and then after this I am going to create another function called const scroll to top, this one for the smooth scrolling to the top, and this one will also be an arrow function. And here what we are going to do, we are going to add window dot scroll to, so we are going to scroll to, and here we are going to pass some parameter. The first one is where we want to go, we are going to the top 0, and the behavior we are going to expect here is smooth. So that's it, that's the two functionality we need. And now we're going to design our component button. So for this, the first div will have a class name of fixed, bottom will be 2, no, bottom will be 4, and we are going to animate pulse here, which is the Tailwind CSS built-in animation, and we are going to use bright of 4. And then what we are going to do is we're going to check. So if is visibility is true, so if is visible is true, then we are going to show a button. So button, and this button, inside this button we're going to have an icon which is a arrow up, which is coming from React icons. Now in the button we have a class name of bg will be orange 600, text color will be white, rounded will be full, width will be 12, height will be 12, it will be flex, items will be center, justify will be center, and in focus the outline will be none. And on the button we are going to add our on click event. So when we click on the button we are going to scroll to top. Now if I hit save and if I go to our project and if we go to the top and reload the page, and if I start scrolling, you will see we have our button and it's have the animation and it is fixed position. And if I click here, it will go to the top very smoothly. If I show you again, you can see it's hidden, now it's shown, and if I click here it will go to the top with smooth scrolling. So our scroll to top functionality is completed. Next, we are going to add some animation in our website for more user attraction. So if I show you the animation in the deployed version, you can see we have a lot of animation in our website. We have the scroll animation for every section and which looks absolutely awesome. So now we are going to add this type of animation in our website. So to add this animation, we are going to use a npm package which is AOS, animation on scroll. This is a very powerful npm package to add animation in your website, and it is very easy to implement. So you can see in their website they have different types of animation: fade up, fade left, and they have flip, zoom in right, and all of this type of animation. And the good thing is you just need to add this data AOS property in your div to make it a scroll animation, which is awesome. So you can see all the animation here, all the properties here, and I'm going to go to their GitHub pages, and they have a lot of documentation to how you can use it more effectively. If you want, you can read more about these packages. So for now I'm going to install this package using this npm script. So I'm going to copy this, and here I'm going to paste it here and hit enter. So it will install the packages in our project. So it's completed. Now where we are going to set up our AOS, we are going to set up our AOS in our home component. And to set up the AOS we have to convert this into a client component. So I'm going to convert it into a client component using use client. Now what we need to do, if you go to their website, you can see first we have to import this AOS and this styling. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. As you can see, it's giving us a warning, and it is because of the TypeScript. So we need to install the types for these packages. So I'm going to copy this. Here you can see they have the recommendation here. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it in our terminal and hit enter. It will install the necessary types for our package. So now you can see the warning is gone. Next we are going to set up. So for this I am going to use effect here. So use effect, and I'm going to create the syntax for the use effect. And here first we're going to use a function called init AOS, and it will be an async function, and they have the arrow function, and inside this we are going to first await, then import AOS. Then what we are going to do, we are going to use AOS dot init, and we are going to pass some parameter here. So the first parameter we are going to use is the duration, and the duration will be 1000 millisecond, means 1 second. Then we are going to use easing, and it will be ease. Then we are going to use once to true, and finally the anchor placement, and here we are going to pass top bottom. Now if I save, and then what we need to do is to initialize our function using, so we are going to call our init AOS. So now our setup is complete. First we are going to add the animation in our hero section. So first I am going to open my hero content. So let's go to the hero and then hero content, and in the hero content, the first h1 we are going to add the animation here. To add the animation, what we need to do is add this data-aos property, and what we are going to add here is fade right, and that's it. Then after this h1 we are going to add animation for this p tag, and in this p tag we are going to add data-aos, and we are going to use fade left for this. And another property we are going to use here is data-aos-delay. So we want some delay here, so that first this animation happens and then this animation. This will looks very nice in the website. So after this p, we are going to add animation in our, so I'm going to copy these two lines. So first we have to add this in this button, and here we are going to use another type of animation, which is zoom in, and we are going to add the delay of 400 milliseconds. So let's reduce this. This will be 150, and this will be 300. Then the second button, so I am going to copy this again, and for this button it will be zoom in also, but I am going to change the delay here. Then we have the animation for our stats. So for this first div we have fade up. So I'm going to copy this, and this will be not zoom in but fade up, and the delay will be 600 milliseconds. So after this div we are going to add animation for our next div. So I'm going to copy this, and this will also be fade up. So fade up, and the delay will be 750. So I am going to copy this, and for the next div we also have the animation for fade up, and this will be 900. So that's it. Then we are going to add the animation for our hero image, and the hero image for the div we are going to add, so data-aos will be fade left, and the duration will be 1050. Now if I save, and if I go to the website, and if I reload the page, you can see we have this beautiful animation in our website. Next we are going to add the animation in our about section. So for this, let's go to our about section. So where our about section, so this is our about section, and in the about section the first part, this div will have a animation of, so I'm going to copy the previous one, and here it will be fade, not fade left, it will be fade right. And the data dash AOS, for the first one we do not need any delay here, but we're going to add another property which is data dash AOS dash anchor placement, and we're going to use a different type of placement for this one, and it is top center. And now I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to add this for our second part. So the second part will be fade left, and here we are going to add a delay, and the delay for this we are going to add a delay of 150 milliseconds. Now if I hit save and if I reload the page, you can see the initial animation, and here you can see our about section animation, which looks very nice. Here we have a typing mistake, so here it will be anchor placement. So if I hit save now and if I reload the page again, now you can see it looks more nice. So it's start animating when we are in the view of this component. So next we have this course section, so we are going to add the animation for our course section. So let's open the course, and here you can see we have a mapping here. So if we want to add the animation here, we need another property here, which is the indexing. If you remember that the map function have a data property and a indexing property, so this will give us the index like 0 1 2 3 4, just like this one. So for this, for that div, we are going to add a animation of, so I'm going to copy this and it will be anchor placement. And if I go to the about section here, this will be anchor placement, and here we have the misspelling, so this will also be anchor placement. Then let's go to the course and let's fix this. Anchor placement will be top center, and it will have the animation of fade right, fade right. And here we are going to add a delay, but it will be a different approach. So the delay will be I into 150. What that is means that for the first element we have the index of 0, so the 0 will be multiplied with 150, so there will be no delay for the first element. For the second one, the value of I will be 1, and 1 into 150 will give us the value of 150, so the second element will have a delay of 150. For the third element, the index will be 2, and 2 into 150 will be 300, and the third element will have a delay of 300. That's how we are going to use this indexing to make our delay work properly. So now if I hit save and if I refresh the page, you can see our initial animation and the about animation. Then we have the course animation, and which looks very nice. Then we are going to add our animation for this feature section. So let's go to the feature section. So let's copy these two lines and then go to the feature section. And in the feature section, we're going to add the animation only in the image. So I'm going to add that to data iOS, and the data iOS will be zoom in, and the anchor placement will be top center. So now if I refresh the page, you will see the initial and then the about us, then we have the course animation, then we have this feature animation. Next, we are going to skip this. We do not add any animation here because it's already looks good. And then we are going to add our animation in our article section. So first, let's go to the article. So where is our article? So here, and in the article section here, we are going to use the same logic as we used in our course data. So I'm going to use a indexing here, and here we are going to add data dash aos will be zoom out, and the delay. So data dash aos dash delay will be I into 150. Let's add the backtick here. So that's it. So now if I hit save and if I reload the page again, we have the initial animation, about section animation, course animation, then this feature animation, and finally we have the article animation. So everything works perfectly and all our animation is looks very nice now. So if I show you one more time, you can see how beautiful and premium it looks because of this animation, and it will attract the user more. So our animation is completed. Finally, we are going to deploy our project in live server. And for this, we are going to use the very popular Vercel services. So to deploy our project in Vercel, first we need to push our project in the GitHub. So that's why I'm going to first open my GitHub page, and then we are going to create a new repository in our GitHub. So I'm going to click here to create a new repository, and I'm going to use the name of e-learning YT, and it will be a private repository, and then I'm going to create new repository here, and then go to your project, and I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to close the server for now. And first we are going to use git init to initialize a git, and then I'm going to use git add dot to add our all the files, and then we're going to use git commit, and we're going to pass a message like fast commit, and then if you go here you can see we completed this. Now I'm going to copy this one and paste it here. Then we're going to add our remote origin, so copy this and paste it here. And finally we are going to push our project using git push origin main, so copy this and paste it here. It will push your project in the GitHub. So you can see it's writing the objects here. So the process completed and the project is pushed to the GitHub. Now if I go to the GitHub and reload the page, you can see we have our project in the GitHub. Next, I'm going to open the Vercel dashboard. So if you don't have the Vercel, you just need to sign up for free. So in the Vercel, I'm going to click here to add new project, and then here you can see the recent project that you deployed in the GitHub. So this is this e-learning YT. So I'm going to import this, and then I'm going to just click here to deploy. So it will deploy our project in the Vercel. So let's wait some time to complete the deployment. So our deployment is completed. Now click here to go to the dashboard. Now you can see we have a custom domain here. So if I click here, it will open our project in live server, and you can see our project is now running on live server, and you can see the animation is also working. We have the hover effect, and if I scroll you can see the hover animation. We have the animation, and then popular course with this hover effect, and you can see everything's run perfectly in the deployed version. And if I show you the responsiveness, if I inspect and if I select a mobile devices, and here you can see in mobile devices everything is perfect. So now you have a link. You can share this link to your potential client, or you can add this to your resume to show your skill. So this is it for today. If you have any question related to this project, you can ask me in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel for more interesting web development content. So thank you for today.